All right. Good morning, everyone in San Francisco. Good afternoon, everyone in Europe. I guess good evening or good early morning to everyone in Asia. Welcome to another exciting episode of Money Talks. The good news today is you don't just get me, you get some other awesome members of the Abra team who've volunteered to join and answer some pressing questions on Abra and how the app works and yeah, so let's get into it fairly quickly. So welcome Ben and Lala to Money Talks.
Hey, thanks for adding this on, Bill.
Well, thank you for doing this. And good morning, Lala. So,
Good morning, everyone.
all right. So I'm going to get right into it. While I'm answering the first question and looking at some of the stream here, I'm actually going to install Abra. And those of you on the live stream, you can actually see what I'm doing. And this addresses one of the first questions we get is how do I get started with Abra? So you'll see that I'm installing the app, and I'll walk you through that as I go. But in the meantime, I see we're getting people from all over the world again, which we love. So thank you for that. And all right, so now I've got a new Abra install. It's going to walk me through the process here. I've got my beautiful welcome screens. I'm going to add a new wallet starting from scratch. So I'm going to type my name. I'll give my Abra. I'm going to actually create a fake email here since I don't want. I'm going to delete this later. Screw it. I'm Bill at Abra.com. Feel free to contact me anytime. So live on the edge. And I guess you'll be seeing my mobile number here. And the verification code. All right. So California. And I'm going to just for now create a pin. I'll change this later. All right. So it says, welcome to your new Abra wallet. Browse assets. This allows me to basically add new cryptos to my wallet. So I see I've got Bitcoin, Ethereum, Bitcoin Cash, Litecoin. Let's add a few. I'll add Stellar, I'll add Cardano, I'll add Tron, Monero, Zcash, and we'll get going there. All right. So Ben, maybe you want to send some money to my Abra wallet while we're doing this, and send it back to you later, and we can do some exchanges and whatnot while while we're demoing the app. So let's get into some questions from some folks that we have. So let's see. Oh gosh. So let's go to I don't know if I'm saying your name right, Tawu. Since all the migration to Bittrex, the fiat currency is still a smart contract. How do you with the hedge? No, actually, Abra uses stable coins to show to store fiat currency. So here at the bottom, you see I've got TUSD. I'm going to click on that, and you'll see that's True USD. Abra supports Tether, True USD, and a few other stable coins. And you can deposit and withdraw to any existing stablecoin wallet that we support. And if you go to the ad list, you can see we support USDC. I mentioned Tether. We support DAI, and a few others. And so they're all there. And they work similar to the way stablecoins work on any exchange. And then the second part of the question was, how do you show in the Abra wallet so fast when you send to another user's Abra wallet, since Bitcoin takes 10 minutes and in the Abra wallet it takes seconds? Good question. So if you're sending from one Abra wallet directly to another Abra wallet, and the way you do that is you click in the menu in the upper left, right, and then you click Send to an Abra user, right, and it's going to load my address book here, and so I'm going to actually hide that so that you don't see all the phone numbers. But if you click on a user there and send money to them, you're actually going from Abra to Abra, and you're not going directly on the Bitcoin or any third-party blockchain. And so as a result, those transactions happen immediately. There's no 10-minute waiting. On the other hand, if you press withdraw, the bottom right of the screen, and you send money to another crypto wallet, right? I can't do that yet because I haven't added money. Then in that case, the transaction does go to the blockchain. So if you're withdrawing Bitcoin, you would use the Bitcoin blockchain, and that would take at least 10 minutes or one block cycle to show up in the recipient's wallet. Okay, so I've just received money from Ben, so I'm not sure if you saw that on the screen. Now, because this is the first time that I'm receiving money, it's very important that I back up my wallet. So we have a couple of questions here about that. So let me start with that, and maybe Lala, you can talk to that while I'm backing up my phrase. So why is it, Lala? The question is, why is it important that I back up my wallet using the backup phrase with Abra?
So it's always important because unlike other accounts or wallets, we do not require a username and password. So your email, your phone number, that kind of information, unfortunately, won't link or pull up your wallet. Your recovery phrase is the only thing that will. So we absolutely highly recommend you do it as soon as you create your wallet. You will be prompted within the app. We also make sure to send a reminder email so users can make sure to do it later. We have a lot of documentation on it. So we absolutely encourage you to do it as soon as you create one. That way you always have it. So if anything happens, my mic is really low. Can you guys hear me now?
Yeah, that's better. Thank you.
Better? Okay. I'll speak a little louder. So essentially, we want to make sure that you write down your recovery phrase as soon as you can. And the reason being, of course, as I stated, is that this is the one way you can pull up your wallet, regardless of if you lose your phone, break your phone, end up somehow losing access to it. If there's any kind of issue, this is the one way that you can go and recover your funds on any device. So we absolutely recommend that you do it as soon as you download the wallet, but absolutely right after you deposit funds. Definitely do it at that point.
Great. So perfect. So let's see. So as we're speaking, I'm on this screen here that basically says protect your money before it's too late. This references the backup phrase that Lala was referring to. So at the bottom of the screen, it says show my phrase now. And in this case, I'm going to delete this later, lest all of you think you're going to get my money. So I do this, write it down, and of course, if I verify that, then I can actually restore my Abra wallet later if I have to get a new phone. For example, let's say my phone gets stolen, as Lala alluded to. So yeah. All right. So let's see. We've got some more questions here. Next question. Does Ben? We got a question here about fees. Does Abra charge the same percentage when buying different cryptocurrencies? So, for example, if I'm buying Bitcoin, what percentage does Abra charge? If I'm buying Ethereum, what percentage does Abra charge? And if I'm exchanging between those currencies, what does Abra charge?
Yeah, good question. I mean, I think it's really important to note that Abra doesn't charge any fees on top of the network fees that are implicit. So using Bitcoin or Eath, but maybe an aspect that the user might be referring to is the spreads when converting currencies. You'll get a different mark whether you're buying or you're selling a currency, and basically it corresponds to the amount of currency that you're going to want to trade. So in general, larger amounts will have greater price impact. And it's something where, if you're buying, a larger amount, they'll pay somewhat higher price corresponding to the amount of available liquidity in the marketplace. In essence, what's happening is Abra is passing on the liquidity available in Bittrex and corresponding that to the spread that the user faces when trading currencies.
Sure. Thanks for that, Ben. So we've got some more questions. They're coming in fast and furious fast and furious now. Turban Dorsey, thank you for going live. We would really like to hear your thoughts about XRP, currently number 4 on Coin Market Spot Ranking. Thanks for that. Yes, we support XRP in the Abra app. I'm going to search for it here. I'm going to add XRP to my portfolio. So when I go back to my home screen, at the bottom here, you see that I have XRP. We get lots of people using Abra as their primary XRP / Ripple wallet, and we love the team there, and we're really excited to continue to support them, and I expect great things from them going forward. So yeah, and I'm also getting some comments that Ben and Lala, you're a little hard to hear, so let's turn up the gain on your mics, and while you're doing that, I'll take the next question. And so let's see, what else we've got. Why Abra and not Coinbase or Gemini? Okay, so that's a good question. Thanks for that. So think about Abra as a really simple, fast, easy to use wallet that allows you to store, hold, send, transfer, manage, exchange across something like 100 different cryptocurrencies, stable coins from anywhere in the world. And to my knowledge, Abra is the only or one of the only apps in the world that allows you to manage such a broad spectrum of cryptocurrencies and exchange between them from anywhere, share them from anywhere. And most of the exchanges, particularly the ones that you mentioned, can't support that large myriad group of cryptocurrencies the way Abra can. I think Abra is very unique in this regard. It's not an exchange, so you don't see an order book. And as a result, it's much easier to use. So for example, if I want to exchange some, let's say some true USD for Bitcoin, I click on exchange at the bottom. It says exchange from. I choose true USD. I'm going to buy some Bitcoin, so I choose Bitcoin, and that's it. I literally type in the amount. So in this case, I'll do $7. And click review, accept the rate, and I now have Bitcoin. It's literally that simple. So this is way simpler than a traditional exchange. If you have any experience in using them, you see what I'm talking about. So anyway, so that's that. Let's go on to let's see, another question. Lala, let's try you and see how we're doing with the audio here. My wife sends money all the time to relatives in the Philippines. How does it work with Abra? Does she buy a specific crypto in Abra and then send it to her relatives' Abra wallet, and then goes to 7-Eleven? How does she get the cash out in pesos in the Philippines?
Okay, so definitely, crowd, let me know if this helps. So actually, it's really easy through Abra. If you both have downloaded the app to your phones, it's extremely easy for your wife to go ahead and send funds to her family in the Philippines. She can actually withdraw those funds in multiple ways. One, of course, would be Tanduting, which is very easy, but another would actually be through their bank directly. So they have a few options to go ahead and do so. And it's pretty much instant because it's, again, happening on our platform. It doesn't have to go external from the app, and it's not going through another source.
Yep. Absolutely. So what I did while you were speaking, if I click withdraw on the Abra app, in the US, I see these options. If I'm in the Philippines, I actually see options for withdrawing in cash, and I can walk into the local cash outlets that Lala was referring to, for example, pawn shop like Tamuting or 7-Eleven and the like. And so those are super easy ways to do that. Obviously, in the U.S., everybody likes to use their bank account, and so I'm getting feedback that the change I just made or whatever we did improved the audio. So thanks for the feedback there. Good job. And so yeah. So another question I got here about can I deposit USD to my wallet directly? In the US, yes, you can. And so if I'm on my home screen here, I can use my bank account. I press add money in the app. I can do a bank ACH transfer, and that supports almost every large bank in the United States. I can do a bank wire transfer, and that's useful if I'm transferring large amounts and I want to transfer that money directly from my bank. That also has the advantage that there's no hold on the money. It'll be available to withdraw immediately. So if I buy Bitcoin, for example, via bank wire transfer, I can get the money out right away. And so yes, there's lots of ways. We have people in a hurry who use even a credit card. So let's see. We've got another question here. Let's say for Ben, what's the question? Can Abra list all cryptos and rotate them out and sub them if they don't get the volume you need? Why not?
Can Abra rotate out?
So I think the question is basically, okay, there are hundreds of cryptos. Abra only supports a subset of them. Why? Which we've talked about earlier and in the past. But why not just support them all anyway and then rotate them in and out? And I can add some color, of course, as well. But go for it.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, I think we take our product very seriously, and consider adding tokens through a vetting process. We basically evaluate everything from liquidity to who's backing a token. Today we support in the U.S. over 90 cryptocurrencies, worldwide over 100, and it's something where we're looking to add new ones all the time. But it's also something a process that goes through vetting. Yeah.
Yep. So Ben, can you just adjust the gain a little bit on your audio there while I'm reading the next question? So why don't you offer staking on your platform? So without getting into the technical details of what staking is, and I've written about this in the newsletter, and others, you can search online what staking is. This is something that we are looking at, and eventually I think we will offer. I don't have any timeline on it, but as we see more demand and as that market matures, it's definitely something that we're going to be looking very closely at. Let's see, what else do we have here? So many questions. Can you tell me when banks from Austria will be added to Abra? So SEPA wires is something that's very high on our list. I don't have an exact date as to when we would be able to offer that, but I can tell you it's something that we have worked on and are looking at, and definitely want to offer. And where can I find my address wallet? Good question. So I'm going to share my screen again here, and you should be able to see my Abra app. I'm going to go back in. And so now if I want to deposit money into my Abra app, I'm going to go back to my home screen. At the bottom, you see it says add money, right? And I can click on deposit cryptocurrency. This allows me to basically deposit directly into any wallets that I have. So let's say I want to deposit into my Bitcoin wallet. I click on Bitcoin, right? That gives me a warning. You should only deposit BTC to this address. Many cryptocurrency addresses look similar, and you want to be very careful that you're using the correct format and correct address for the wallet you've chosen. And I click agree. So now it's going to show me a Bitcoin wallet address. Past my spinning here. It's unavailable. I don't know why. So let's try another one. Let's try.
So I can answer answer that actually.
Okay.
So these addresses are actually provided by our custodian. So
Right.
because of that, there's a little bit of a delay of them creating those addresses for
That's
us.
right, because it's a new wallet. So that's
yes,
right.
It's a brand new wallet.
That's right.
So
Thanks for reminding me that. So I'll come back to that in a few minutes. But when I click on Bitcoin, after a few minutes of having the new account set up, I'll be able to see the Bitcoin address, and then I can deposit into that address. Okay. How many minutes does it usually take, Lala, for that to set up?
unfortunately, it varies. So
Yep.
they do it in batches. So sometimes
Gotcha.
it can take up to an hour.
About an hour. Okay. So about an hour, you'll be able to deposit into the wallet. In the worst case, sometimes a few minutes. Thanks for that. More questions about USD. I think we answered that already. And let's see. Are there any KYC requirements for customers cashing out in the Philippines? Ben, you want to take that one?
Yeah, sure. So basically, we have bank and retail partners in the Philippines, allowing you to cash in, cash out. This is everything from top pawn shops like Tumbling Ting to 7-Eleven, Union Bank. And basically, we do ask our users to provide selfie and ID verification from time to time based on the amount of transaction activity that we're seeing when they cash in or cash out. I think at higher levels, we also send questionnaires, so it's something to be aware. I think you'll get something to your Abra email, Abra registered email address. So make sure that whatever you put in there when you register your Abra app, you want to make sure that that email address is actually valid. Otherwise, you risk having these transactions failed and refunded.
Yep. So bottom line is that Abra basically is compliant with all local laws, and we're based in the United States. And so when we're doing things like processing a bank wire through our partners, we obviously have to do some basic. It's called KYC is the three-letter acronym that stands for Know Your Customer, and basically it means that we have to know who you are in order to take that deposit. So we had a very nice comment here. I'd advertise the Abra wallet from the easy to use angle. So easy your grandma could buy crypto. Thank you, Joshua, for that. I'll pass that on to our marketing team, and hopefully your grandma will be up and running on Abra very soon. We'll be teaching a course on blockchain at the University of South Carolina in the fall. So want to do a case study on Abra. Gordon, we're happy to support you there. Just contact us via the hello@abra.com, and we'll route you to the right person to support your case study at the university. We're big believers in university-based promotion of not only Abra, but more importantly, cryptocurrency, blockchain, and Bitcoin. So let us know how we can support you there. Let's see, so many questions. I'm trying to get a random sampling here. We talked about fees, another question there. Okay, so here, Lala, here's an interesting question. Still new to crypto and Bitcoin overall, as well as other cryptocurrencies. Newcomers could benefit from simple, straightforward, and in-depth guide about crypto, how to use Abra for transfers and other exchange features. The fear is that transferring to the wrong wallet could result in loss. This is no doubt very troubling. Please try to provide a baby step guide on depositing coins in Abra wallet from other exchanges after purchase. Thank you. Would you like to comment on that?
Sure. So there's definitely a couple of questions there, but overall, we of course do have a great FAQ section for all of our users. That way they can go ahead and deposit into their Abra wallet. I absolutely will go ahead and be happy to add one specifically to how to withdraw from an external wallet. I know Coinbase is one that people tend to use, but if anyone else is interested in a specific wallet, please drop it in the comments, and I'll basically go ahead and check that out for you and add it as we go. Additionally, we know that you guys especially newcomers, are very cautious and of course don't want to lose your funds. So please reach out to support@abra.com, and we'd be happy to give you any extra guidance that you need.
Fantastic. So, all right. And we have a lot of content just to add some more color to that. Also, in addition to the FAQ, if you go to abra.com, scroll down to the bottom, there's an introductory course on cryptocurrencies. We have a section on every single major crypto in the app where you can get more details and background on those cryptocurrencies, how they work. There's a beginner's guide to Bitcoin. So we have a ton of content on Abra. And the other thing I would say is that if you can actually do transactions with relatively small amounts in the app, especially person to person, and so there's really not much you can break. And so if you just try things in small amounts, get comfortable with it, that's what I recommend to people as well. So let's see. So we've got some other questions here. So Rainier asks, can I send Bitcoin to my brother in the Philippines? I use Binance and would like to transfer Bitcoin to his Abra wallet. How can I do that? Thanks. Ben, you want to take that one?
Sure. I mean, I think there are two ways to answer this. If you just want to directly send Bitcoin from, say, Binance to his Abra wallet, all you need is his Bitcoin deposit address, and you can immediately withdraw it in that way. I think oftentimes when people are sending to the Philippines, one of the usage cases we mentioned before was the interest to be able to get cash in hand. And so it's something where it might be more controllable and manageable in the process if you as the sender are sending from your Binance wallet first to your Abra wallet to convert it to PHP. And it's something, if you have that in hand, based on Binance's withdrawal processing times and so forth, you'll have a little bit more management control over the process. And by the time you get Philippine pesos in your own Abra wallet, it's something that sends straight through very quickly and can confirm, within a confirmation cycle to your brother's wallet in this case. So, long story short, two ways to send. You can directly send Bitcoin. Otherwise, if you're trying to send cash, better to send your own wallet first.
Yep. Thank you, Ben. So I've got another question here from Amika. Why can't you add a market order in Abra? So when you do an exchange on Abra, as I did before when I transferred TrueUSD to Bitcoin, you are effectively doing something similar to a market order. And so that's more or less what you're doing when you use the exchange function in Abra. So, and just to add some color to Ben's comments on doing a deposit. So let's say that I want to deposit Ethereum from Binance. So I click on Add Money. In this case, I'm going to deposit cryptocurrency. I'm going to scroll down and click on Ethereum. Again, reminding me I should only deposit Eath to this address. I click on I agree. And I should see my Ethereum wallet. Now the good news is if I have another app, like a Binance app, I could actually take a picture of this QR code, or I can click on the copy link, and I've now copied that link. Feel free to send me some Eath if you like, to that address, and done. And now I can paste that wallet address into any other app or exchange and send my Eath to Abra, and it would show up here in my Abra app. Okay, so let's see. We're getting the questions are coming fast and furious. Thanks for that, everyone. Here's an interesting one. Anton de Guzman asks, when will deposits into the Abra wallet be able to earn interest? Very good question, Anton. I can't give away too much. Except to say I would strongly encourage all of you to keep tuning in to Money Talks over the next few weeks, and you never know, you may get a nice surprise. Steve asks a question: can my customers pay me with Abra without joining Abra? Well, the answer is no. They would need to have the Abra wallet to pay you using Abra. However, if you have Abra and they have a Bitcoin wallet, then they don't need Abra to send you Bitcoin. That would work the same way I described before, where you would simply press add money, press deposit cryptocurrency, and then you would send them that Bitcoin wallet address, and then they can send Bitcoin to your Abra wallet without actually having to install Abra themselves, assuming that they already have a Bitcoin wallet or an Eath wallet or XRP or whatever Stellar or whatever other currency they might be using. So we've got some others. Let's see. So we got some question here from a U.S. user on tax. So Lala, maybe you can help with this. Does Abra supply a 1099? So maybe just talk through the transaction history and how we support users there.
So yes. So, and again, everybody let me know if this sounds better.
Sounds great.
But perfect. So unfortunately, we do not supply a 1099. But what we do is we go ahead and allow you to go ahead and send your own entire transaction history of that year or any year that you've had Abra to your email. That way you can supply it directly to your tax advisor and they can go ahead and help you, of course, do your taxes. We also have partnered, or not partnered, sorry, we've had a podcast with a great tax service called CryptoTrader.tax, and they can go ahead and also help you with that. Our transaction history works well with their system.
Great, and I just demoed in the app. If you press the Abra logo at the top, you can see the export transaction history. Choose the year. I chose 2020 because it's the only year that I have. I can email myself the report, and I have a CSV file that I can import into Excel, or I believe some other tax preparation apps that can also help me there, or send to my accountant and let them deal with it. All right, so thank you for that. Let's see. So I've never updated my app before. How can I do it? Well, that's really easy. You go to the App Store on your phone and you search for Abra, and if the app has never been updated, there'll be a button there to update the app, and it's the same on both the Google Play Store as well as the Apple App Store. So easy peasy, no problem. But probably best, like I do, I just have it set up in my App Store to update automatically, but you can always go and update it manually. And it's probably better to check every once in a while. If we're advertising a new feature, for example, and you can't see it, you should often go to the App Store and make sure that you have the latest version of the app. Okay, so more questions coming in. Thank you, everyone. These are really good questions. Let's see. We've got another one here. Well, similar question to before. How many percent does Abra charge when one wants to buy crypto with fiat? If I deposit $1,000 and exchange for Tether, and my total portfolio remaining was 964. Anyway, Ben, do you want to talk to exchanging fees and how we deal with stable coins versus crypto?
Yeah, I think that's a really great question. We mentioned before how spreads are sort of determined by exchange liquidity. When you speak to concrete numbers, especially around stable coins, sometimes it can be jarring to think, well, $1 isn't it a dollar? But it's in Abra's system. We basically treat true USD one-to-one with USD. So in other words, if you deposit $1 here in the US through Bank ACH or through a wire, $1,000, you will get 1,000 true USD. If you start to go to other stable coins, we've added support now for USDC. We've had now USDT Tether for a while. And when you change those 1,000 true USD to, say, for example, Tether, you are going to cross that spread, and you might see a diminishment in the amount of a stable coin that you're holding. In this case, 964 down from 1,000 seems pretty wide to me, wider than I would expect. It's something, if you drop us a line at support@abra.com, our agents would be able to help and understand where is that coming from. But generally speaking, right, there will be, I wouldn't be surprised if you're going down from, say, $1,000 true USD to, say, $990 of Tether. And that's just a reflection of the fact that these stable coins, they don't have perfect exchange liquidity.
Yep.
So that's pretty typical to that. Maybe for cryptocurrencies, you start to see a lot wider spreads on less liquid cryptocurrencies. So this is congruent with what I was describing earlier, especially some of these coins where they're very close to tapping out all their significant figures, where their price is so low that can barely be represented in dollars, much less Bitcoin. You'll start to see greater price impact around that, and that's just an unfortunate byproduct of, again, limited exchange liquidity for what sound like potentially way less liquid tokens.
So a couple of comments there. Thanks, Ben. Great explanation. There's this phrase stablecoin, which is really just meant to be a very simple way of saying using something like an Ethereum smart contract to represent a dollar or a euro. Unfortunately, these aren't really stable coins in that a dollar on an exchange in Tether is not always equal to a dollar. They can actually fluctuate. I've seen them fluctuate, even 3% in a day, so that a dollar becomes 97 cents. Now, we use TrueUSD as the kind of base stable coin in our system, and so we guarantee that one TrueUSD is always equal to $1. However, and that's simply via our work with our custodian and with Trust Token. But others like down here, with Tether USDT, you can see that it's very close to a dollar, but it's off by a tiny fraction of a percent. So you're not really losing much. Actually, that's pretty much a round off to zero, like less than a penny. But there is a fluctuation, and so if you deposit via your bank account into Abra in dollars, you're not actually taking any currency risk, just to be clear. A dollar will stay a dollar when you deposit via your bank account. If you convert it to other cryptocurrencies or other stable coins, then you may be subject to fluctuations in the value of those stable coins. I'm getting another question here. I've got actually a couple. Why doesn't Abra support PayPal for deposits and withdrawals? I'll take that one since that's more of a futures issue. So we would love to support PayPal for deposits and withdrawals. PayPal has not traditionally been very cryptocurrency friendly. I think this relates to probably bank fraud issues, people in the dark web, whatever. But we're hopeful that PayPal will figure out a way to allow users to do deposits and withdrawals via an existing PayPal app and accounts, and Abra would gladly support that capability once it's live. So keep those requests coming. And by the way, please, tell PayPal that you want to be able to withdraw directly from a dollar to a Tether wallet, for example, or from to a TrueUSD wallet or the euro equivalent. That would be fantastic. The other thing to keep in mind is that there's third-party services in some countries. It's not legal everywhere, but you could use services like Paxful. So for example, let's say you have a PayPal wallet and you want to buy Bitcoin for Abra. What you could do is you could go to Paxful and say, I want to buy Bitcoin using PayPal, and someone will sell you Bitcoin using PayPal, and then you can transfer that by giving them your Abra wallet address. And we have lots of users who've done that. I believe Aetherium supports that in Latin America as well. Excuse me. And so that's also a way to do that. Let's see. And can we check which cryptocurrencies you can handle? Sure. That's from, let's see, Mikola asked that. So if I press add here in the upper right corner, I see a portfolio list. Now this is a US specific list because I'm in the United States. We actually support more cryptos outside the US than we do inside the US. But I'm scrolling. We support everything from GNT, Zcash, Solve, Verge, Raven, Saya, Augur, Digibyte. Shout out to all our fans from the Digibyte community. Love you guys. Bat, Dash, love Dash. Big Cardano fan. I'm big fan of that project. Shout out to that group. So anyway, so we've got a big list of cryptos here. As Ben mentioned, we're constantly looking at the entire sphere and universe of cryptocurrencies to see which ones meet our requirements for adding to the app. So thanks for that. More questions coming in. How can I withdraw from Abra to transfer to my account here in Dubai? Is this possible? Let me answer the question in two ways. So there's the cash withdrawal, and then there's the crypto withdrawal. So obviously, if you have another crypto wallet and you want to withdraw crypto from Abra to an exchange, that you're using from Dubai, that's very easy. You press the withdraw button here in the lower right, and you choose send to crypto wallet, and you can withdraw, let's say, Bitcoin. Type in the amount, and then you can paste in the address of your exchange. Just do it again, send Bitcoin. The to address, I can actually press the QR code, and I can use my camera. Let's go back here and get out of here and come back to the Abra app. Sorry about that. And so, all right. And then the other part of the question was withdrawing to my bank account. So we support bank wires. You see here bank wire transfers. Right now, we only support those to the US. And I will tell you that it's very high on our list to add global wire supports to the Abra app. I don't have an exact date. It will be this year, but I can't give you the exact date yet, but it's something that we are pushing very hard to get done. We want everybody in the world to be able to use their bank account to be able to wire money into and out of the Abra app. So look for an announcement on that. It will be this year, I'm quite certain. And another question on interest, as I said, continue to join us on Money Talks, and I think you'll see maybe have a nice pleasant surprise. Let's see, what is the fee on Abra for buying Bitcoin from TrueUSD? Is it the same for Bitcoin to Eath? I think, Ben, you kind of already answered this. You want to just kind of quickly just mention how that works again?
Yeah, so the simple answer is yes. In fact, in the US, we don't support buying, for example, from USD directly, right? It's the only way you can hold the equivalent value is through TrueUSD. Now, when you're trading from TrueUSD to Bitcoin, yes, is it the same as trading, for example, TrueUSD to Eath? And I think one thing that's important to mention, maybe to just take a peek behind the curtain a little bit, is that because the sort of main currency of our exchange partners tends to be Bitcoin, it's often the case that you're crossing two spreads in converting, for example, from TrueUSD to Eath. I don't believe we actually have a very liquid TrueUSD to Eath pair, and so to save you money, in essence, what's going on in the background is there's a spread in the very liquid pair TrueUSD to BTC, and then from BTC to Eath. In general, it's something where I think we see the ballpark amount of this tends to be around 1.5%, maybe plus or minus a little bit on top of that. But as a ballpark, I would say that's a pretty fair reference. You can, of course, always see this for yourself inside the Abra app. It's very transparent about what price it's quoting you. And if you just put the sign around and, in essence, check the rate for buying versus selling, you can always know what that rate is.
Yep. Thank you, Ben. Okay, so let's see. We've got some other questions here. Continue to come in. Let's see. Talked about withdrawal. Talked about exchanges. Can I remove an asset from my portfolio list? The answer is yes, you can, as long as the balance on that asset is zero. So let's say here I have Zcash, So if I want to remove Zcash, right, so you see my balance is 0, I can go back to the portfolio list, and I'll just scroll down here, and I see that, let me just, hold on, let me search for Zcash. I'll unselect it, right? I click on save, and now it's back to my list. I'll see that it's gone. Zcash is now gone from my portfolio list. Do you have, here's another question, do you have charting with Abra? Yes, we do. So we have very beautiful charts here. So I'm going to go into, click on Bitcoin. And when I click on my Bitcoin balance, I actually see a chart. This is the weekly chart. I can switch to a daily chart. We can see Bitcoin's down about 0.9% today. You know, looks like pretty flat for the week and for the month. But we have charts for most of the cryptos. So if I go to Litecoin, I see the chart, and I'll click on, let's see, pick on another one here. We'll click on XRP, and we see the chart down about 1.2% today. So yes, we have a great charting feature in Abra, so very easy to use. So let's see, we have some more questions coming in. Let me, let's see. Are there any KYC requirements for the Philippines? I think we talked about that, right, Ben?
We did.
Yeah. So yes.
Maybe we can never remind them enough.
Yep.
Selfie plus ID.
Yep. So you bring a selfie and an ID. Well, you'll take the selfie at the store, but yep. So if you're using like a Tambuting or another location. I want to know, Smart Tech World wants to know something about our wallet. If I deposit Bitcoins, will they reside in my smartphone or on our servers? So the answer is neither. We use a third-party custodian, in this case Bittrex, who manages the Bitcoin deposits. They are a licensed money service business in the United States, a very secure, very close partner to Abra, and they are managing those balances, as well as the balances for all the myriad cryptocurrency and stablecoins that you would be holding in the Abra app. A couple more questions, and keep getting more and more questions about are we going to add more cryptocurrencies to Abra? I see you have approximately 85 cryptos in the United States. Are you going to update them again? As Ben mentioned, we're constantly looking at the hundreds of cryptocurrencies out there. We also have to work very closely with our custody partner. If they don't support the cryptocurrency, we can't support it. So a lot of times when they add a new crypto, if it's liquid on the exchange, meaning that our users can easily buy and sell it, then we're generally happy to add it to the app. So we're constantly adding new cryptocurrencies. So what's the network fee for withdrawing USDT to an external wallet? Lala, are you aware of is there a network fee for withdrawing Tether?
Yes, there is. And actually it will reflect in your wallet. And it's based, of course, on the blockchain itself. And if network fees have changed for any reason, it will absolutely reflect there.
Yep. Gotcha. So I don't have any Tether, but if I was withdrawing it into a wallet, it would show just like here. So if I click on send Ethereum, right, and I click the amount, it'll actually show me a network fee. And I can actually manage this very carefully by deducting the fee so that I can have fine-tuned control over the amount. So if I click add fee, it'll put that amount on top, so I have fine-tuned control over how much Eath or Tether or Bitcoin is showing up in my external wallet. Okay, good questions. What happens when an Abra user changes their bank? Is there an automatic update procedure for the new bank? Thank you, Alexa, for that question. So if you want to deposit via a U.S. bank, you can add as I believe as many as you like. You go up to here, bank ACH transfer, and you click add new bank. You'll type in your personal details, and then you'll be able to choose your bank from the list. In this case, I just started one and didn't complete it, so when I click on it, I can come back later. So if I switch to a new bank, I can simply add the new bank here in the list, or I can use multiple banks at the same time. And so we have lots of users, for example, who might use a couple of different banks, and we totally support that. So question about New York. Does Abra support users in New York? We don't actually support users in New York today. We know that Bittrex does not yet have the bit license required by the state of New York. Excuse me. So that's New York is the one state that I believe in the U.S. that Bittrex is not able to support, and we obviously hope that they'll be supporting New York in the future, and we'll obviously look at other ways of supporting New York residents as well in the future. So we haven't forgotten about you in New York, but it is something that we hope to have turned on for users there. So we've got a few minutes left. Got so many questions. So another question on PayPal. Again, as soon as PayPal supports deposits and withdrawals, we'll add them. In the meantime, you can use Paxful. So thanks for that. Let's see, anything else here that we should go over quickly? Fees, we've talked about fees. By the way, all of this is covered in the FAQ section. If you want to look up fees there for exchanges, there's lots of information and detail there. And applied for a wire transfer. It said approval would happen in 30 minutes or less. That was 3 or 4 days ago, still waiting. That's from Shalita. Lala, you want to comment on how we manage the wire onboarding?
Yes. So there's a couple of things with that. If everything is perfect, if all the information that you've submitted has been accepted by our banking partner, it will be accepted within 30 minutes and you will receive a little pop-up that will let you know it's been approved. However, if it is longer than that period of time, please go ahead and delete and you can try again, or you can always reach out to us directly and we can check to see if maybe something's in review. If it's in review, we will reach out to our banking partner to make sure that goes through as soon as we can. Most of the time, same day, if not the next day if we need something uploaded.
Perfect. So yeah, and you're always welcome to send an email to support@abra.com if you feel like there's an issue, or if you didn't like the response that you got maybe automated from the app, just let us know, and Lala and her team are happy to take care of you. So is there an advantage for using Abra directly versus exchanges like Bittrex, other than we like you guys? And so first of all, thank you for liking us. Tell your friends. And yes, there are huge advantages to using Abra. The first is you're not using an order book directly, and you don't have all the complexity of dealing with that. There are a lot of other features enabled to be, including ACH bank deposits, which are very fast, and withdrawals, which are all very fast. The ability to do large bank wires, so and also international support. And we got these questions earlier about earning interest, and so again, not to give it all away, but let's just say that there'll be lots of features even in that area where we will be doing things that you won't be able to do directly on exchanges. And so we love our exchange partners, but there's big advantages to using Abra versus the exchanges. So let's see, more questions coming in here. Let's see, so many. Thank you very, very much. These are fantastic questions. We're getting some repeat questions, so I'd invite people to just go rewatch the stream here, and you'll be able to see when will Europe be added. Again, we're looking at SEPA support for the future. In the meantime, you can obviously deposit any cryptocurrency if you're using Abra from Europe, including Tether, and I think there's a true USD support, and also I think if you have some of the euro-based cryptocurrencies and you exchange out of them, you can then deposit your USD directly into Abra there. Another question, are we able to make USD deposits by ACH? Again, the answer is yes. If you just press add money and click on ACH, you'll be able to do any bank ACH transfer. So Lala, I'm curious, if you had to say, what are the top like 2 questions that you get that would be most useful, to mention here to help people, using Abra?
Top 2. Oh.
We'll pick one to start. Yeah.
I was like, thanks for putting me on the spot. Definitely always people want to ask and know, of course, how is the easiest way to link their bank account. I know you've gone over that multiple times, but just to go ahead and reiterate, when you link your bank account, of course, that information is not coming directly to us. It actually is going directly to our banking partners, so it is secure, it is safe. You would enter in the same information that you would as if you were to log in online, and it will link almost immediately. There's very few times where it doesn't. If it doesn't, please definitely reach out to us. We'll go ahead and see what's going on in the back end. And of course, wires is always the next option, but mostly it's people want to know, how can I go ahead and get this set up as quickly as possible. It usually happens pretty quickly. We are always here to support you with that. A second question, of course, is, how can I make sure that my funds are safe and secure and I don't lose access? I will, go ahead and circle back to our recovery phrase. Please make sure to go ahead and write that down. Keep it in a safe place. That way, if anything happens to your phone, if for some reason you lose access to the app, you can always recover it on another device. It doesn't have to be that phone. It can be your iPad. It can be a new phone that you receive. It can be a tablet. So that way you will always have access to those funds.
Absolutely. Thank you for that. And I was showing the wallet's recovery setup. So if you go to wallet security from the main menu, or the drop-down menu, you can get your recovery phrase. Or if you have to reinstall Abra and you want to recover a wallet, you can just press recover a wallet and enter your recovery phrase, and it will recreate all of the balances for you magically in the background. Okay, so thank you for that. We're kind of running out of time here. Let me see if there's any last minute questions. We talked about 1099s for taxes for people in the U.S. Of course, people outside the U.S., we have the transaction history for you as well to deal with any local tax issues. Thanks for those questions. And so we're getting a lot of repeat questions. So please go back and watch the stream again. And I think those of you with the repeat questions, you'll see all of your questions answered. So a bunch of new things coming down the pipe. I also wanted to mention we've updated the ACH function so that you now have same day accessibility to funds if you're doing this during the week. So if you use the bank ACH transfer function, and let's say it's Friday at 9 a.m. and I initiate that, you should see the funds land in your Abra wallet, your true USD balance in the same day, and then you'll be able to exchange in real time once those funds are available. So that's new, and I believe Abra is pretty much setting the standard now in crypto and giving you as real-time access to funds as is possible, given the limitations of the U.S. banking system. So well done to the Abra team for that. And we've added some new cryptos lately, and also are constantly looking at that. So if you just go back to the add button in the app, you'll be able to see more of that. I constantly get questions about, is Abra a good way to send money? And I use Abra to send money all the time. Again, just click on the main menu in the upper left, and you click on send to an Abra user, which is the third item here. You can send to any phone number. Now the cool thing here is that you can send to any phone number to any Abra user anywhere in the world. So if that user is in Mexico and you're in the Philippines, you can send money from Mexico to the Philippines, or from US to the UK or US to Germany, easy peasy, and then that person can obviously, exchange that for a cryptocurrency, withdraw it to a Bitcoin wallet, or maybe they want to buy something online using Bitcoin, or maybe you owe them money and they're happy to take the money that you owe them in Bitcoin. All right, so we're coming up on the 1 hour mark. Again, this has been awesome. Thank you very much, Ben and Lala, for taking the time out of your day to help and support our Abra users. We really appreciate it.
Of course.
All right,
Great
so
being here, Bill.
we're gonna call it there, and wish everyone a wonderful and safe weekend. I know a lot of different parts of the world are starting to open up, and so hopefully everyone is able to stay safe and healthy, and practice whatever guidelines the locals are mandating. I've got my mask, so for my noon walk. And everyone have a great weekend. We'll see you next week for our next AMA, and we'll see you soon. Thanks everyone for joining. Take care.